Hello, I must be going. I'm glad I came, but just the same, I must be going. I'm glad I came, but just the same, I must be going. La. And who am I who must be going? Actually, I'm going to be staying, for better or worse. I'm yours truly, Vic Martino, or truly yours, Vic Martino. And I want to talk about my favorite, or one of my favorites, if not my favorite, of all classic comedy teams, now classic comedy teams. At one time they were just a comedy team, now they're a classic comedy team. I want to talk about the Marx Brothers. Groucho, Chico, Harpo, and sometimes Zeppo, seldom seen Gummo. Yes, these guys were my favorites growing up. And they were brothers, and they have a lot to do with my family, fond family members, in connection with the Marx Brothers, which is why they're so near and dear to my heart. Because as a kid, I loved them, and I saw them on TV. I remember it was a week, I used to play hooky from school a lot, and it was a week they were showing Marx Brothers movies, and they were the Paramount ones. So on Channel 5 here in New York City. And they made 5 movies at Paramount, but one they didn't show because of the copyright issues. But they showed the other 4, and then like on a Wednesday, it was either usually a W.C. Fields or a Mae West movie, they were also at Paramount. And I was fascinated with them. And then at one time, they were showing them on the big screen in a movie theater. You know, we used to have revival houses then, hardly any anymore. But this was in Millburn, New Jersey. I lived in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And they were showing Duck Soup. And the other movie was a Mae West movie. This was on the big screen, and I had my mother, Rose, take me all the way from Williamsburg, Brooklyn to Millburn, New Jersey to see the Duck Soup. And that was my first Marx Brothers movie in the theater. I had already seen them on TV. And, oh man, it was great, you know, with an audience. And the reason why we went all the way to Millburn, New Jersey, because at that time they weren't being shown in the New York revival theaters. Maybe this was a test run. About a week or two later now, they're all over, you know, Marx Brothers movies are everywhere in Manhattan, in the New York City, you know, revival movie theaters. And I used to go constantly with friends of mine. I had a group of friends of mine, we used to go. And, you know, I was a real Marx Brothers fan. I loved seeing them, especially in the movie theater. And besides my mother Rose taking me all the way to New Jersey to see this Duck Soup, my brother Michael, my goddamn motorcycles, I hate them. They're always making noise, the motorcycle farts. Every time I'm trying to record something. Shut up out there! Anyway, excuse me for the outburst, but I figured it might be interesting. Gotta keep people watching. Anyway, so besides my mother taking me to Millburn, New Jersey to see Duck Soup, my first Broadway show, my brother Michael took me to see Minnie's Boys, which was a Broadway show about the Marx Brothers, the life of the Marx Brothers. Minnie was their mother, Minnie Marx, played by Shelley Winters. And that was my first Broadway show. And then my father Jack took me to see 4 of the MGM Marx Brothers movies, playing all 4 of them being shown in the movie theater. And it was Night at the Opera, Day of the Races, At the Circus, and The Big Store. And my father, after 2 movies, said, all right, come see the next 2 with your mother. 4 is too many. I said, no, I want to stay. So we stayed. He wound up enjoying them more than I did. He was laughing more than I did. And then afterwards, I asked him which one was his favorite. I knew his answer was going to be A Day of the Races, because he loved going to the racetrack. He used to take me as a kid to the racetrack, Aqueduct and Belmont. So, and then, you know, every now and then, my mother or father, brother, maybe even my Aunt Anna took me to see some Marx Brothers movies. Then when I got old enough, I started going with my friends. And so, yes, the Marx Brothers are near and dear to my heart. And like I said, their family, and I have fond memories of my family attached to the Marx Brothers. And I also want to mention 2 Facebook friends of mine. I can say they're friends of mine. Well, I really, you know, I don't hang out with them, but Noah Diamond, he did a revival of I'll Say She Is, which was the Marx Brothers' first Broadway show. They had 3 hit Broadway shows. These guys were not only movie stars, or vaudeville stars, they were also Broadway stars. The only comedy team really that ever were, actually, were. Well, anyway, anyway, Alsatias was their first Broadway show. And then the Coconuts and Animal Crackers, which were made into movies. But Alsatias was never made into a movie. Well, Noah Diamond revived Alsatias on Broadway, off-Broadway. And I went to see it like 3 times. The first time I went, oh man, it was great. The second time I took some friends. The third time I took more friends. And we all loved it. It was the best show we've ever seen in years. The revival of Alsatias, this Marx Brothers Broadway show. Excellent. And then I went to see Frank Ferrante, the great Frank Ferrante's Groucho, A Life in Review. Fantastic. Frank is fantastic. He plays Groucho, young Groucho, old Groucho. What a moving show. It was not only, very funny, very touching. It had me crying at the end. And Frank is a great Groucho, and Noah Diamond's a great Groucho. These are the 2 best Groucho Marx tribute artists I've ever seen. And besides Frank Ferrante, my friend, and this guy is my friend, Matt Roper, well, we became friends, but he was Chico Marx in Alsatias. Best Chico I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of, people doing Marx Brothers shows and impersonating the Marx Brothers. The guys in Alsatias, Noah Diamond is Groucho, Matt Roper's Chico, Seth Sheldon is Harpo, best ever. And Frank Ferrante, one of the best Grouchos ever. If not the best Groucho ever. Him and Noah Diamond, I'd say are equal. But Matt Roper was also in, besides being in Alsatias, he was also in Groucho, A Life in Review. And he not only played Chico Marx, he also played Harpo Marx. And this guy had learned how to play piano when he was playing Chico, and he learned how to play the harp when he was playing Harpo. I mean, how impressive is that? A fantastic performer. Well, they all are. And so I take my hat off to them, or my head off. No, I don't want to take my head off. But I really acknowledge these guys for keeping the Marx Brothers legacy alive and doing a great job, and I'm sure the Marx Brothers would be proud. Well, that's my tribute video, my tribute to the Marx Brothers. And once again, I must be going.